Welcome back to another video. Why should I learn French in 2021? If you are new to this channel, welcome and you're watching French Action. My name is Jenny. If your mother tongue is English and you are a university student or a young professional, you may be interested in the Tapif program. So let's find out about this program. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! What does Tapif stand for? It stands for Teaching Assistant Program in France, and it is organized by a French government organization called France Éducation Internationale. This program aims to provide an English native in the French schools to assist the English teachers for an academic year, and this academic year would be about 7 months. What would be your duties as an English assistant? Well, you will need to assist the English teacher or teachers 12 hours per week, work with a small group of students, speak English with the students and expose them to your culture. So why take part in the Tapif program? Well, this would give you the opportunity to work and live in France, to practice and improve your French, to experience the French culture, to experience teaching, if teaching is going to be your future job, and also to develop personally. Do you meet the criteria? Well, you need to be between 20 and 30 years old, or 35 for some countries, so you need to double check. For the level of French, you need to have a B1 level, which is intermediate level. To check the requirement for B1, you can watch this video, which I made quite a few weeks ago. Evaluate your own level of French. And the last criteria here is the adaptability. Can you live in a foreign country on your own? Can you adapt easily? 3 more criteria is education. You need to have at least a degree, a university degree. Teaching experience. You're not really expected to have a teaching experience, but if you have done some work with children, that would be your teaching experience, so to speak. And flexibility, are you willing to go to wherever you will be sent? You will be given 2 choices. The first one is about the school. Do you want to work in a primary school or in a secondary school? And then the second choice will be the region. Let's look at the regions. Now, if you've never been to France, which region would you choose? You first need to research each region, and you will need to choose an academy. An academy is a school district. You cannot request a specific town or village or school, but you will be asked to make 3 choices, the first one being your preferred one. Just to show you how it works. If you choose the Academy of Nice, for example, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be sent to Nice. So you will be sent to the Académie de Nice, but not in Nice. It could be a little town near Nice. That's what I mean. Bear in mind that Paris, Lyon, Strasbourg, and Grenoble are very competitive. So if you want Paris, for example, you may not get it because everybody wants to go to Paris. In addition to mainland France, there are 4 overseas academies: Guadeloupe, Martinique, which are in the Caribbean, French Guiana, which is in South America. and La Réunion, which is, as you can see, not far from mainland Africa. What is the typical Tapif profile? Well, you need to be educated because you'll be working in a school with professionals. Also, you will need to communicate in French at an intermediate level. You will need to understand your students and the people you will be working with. In addition to that, you'll have to open your own bank account, fill in forms, maybe find your own accommodation if the school doesn't offer one, and go to the doctors and do your shopping. So having a good level of French will be very, very important. You need to be interested in the program itself, because you don't take part in the Tapif program for money. You will earn under 800 euros per month, and that is really a stipend. I would advise you to come with your extra money if you want to travel around. You also need to be flexible. You will need to be able to accept the region or the place where you're going to be sent to, and also accept to work in more than one school. This does happen from time to time. So you could be working in one school or 2, even 3 schools. How much does the Tapif program cost? Well, I can't tell you how much it costs you, but I can tell you that you will incur expenses. Some expenses, such as the airfare, for example. The cost of the airfare will depend on whether you have chosen mainland France or the overseas academies. It really depends on where you live and where you will be going. Then the visa, the cost, you will need to think of the cost of the visa if you need one. And accommodation. If the school doesn't provide you with an accommodation, then you have to expect to pay a deposit when you find one. So this is money you need to have in your pocket, basically. I would like to talk about la laïcité, which is secularism in English, very important in the French society. It's separation of church and government, which means that in practice, there's no devotion in schools, no public prayers in meetings, and so on. And also, as an English assistant, you will not go and ask a French teacher about his or her beliefs in God or in a particular religion. You don't do these things in France. And you need to remember, or I should say, you need to know that school continues on Saturday mornings. So this is important for those who worship on Saturdays. I would like to share with you 3 recent testimonials. I'm going to read Russell's testimonial. He was sent to the Académie de Guadeloupe in 2019-2020. He said, "The Tapif program was enriching on both a professional and personal level. Not only did it provide a debut to my teaching career, but it also allowed me to appreciate both my own culture and that of France and the French Caribbean. Through this opportunity, I was able to make lifelong friendships as well as improve my French language skills." This is Kurtz, who has just completed his year in the Académie de Nice. Being part of the Tapif program opened my eyes to many different things. It was a pleasure not only learning about the French culture, but living it firsthand while trying my very best to improve my French. Tapif taught me how to budget and how to operate in an environment where things and times were unpredictable. I would go on the program many times over again and I would recommend anyone wanting a year of adventure, teaching, learning, traveling, while gaining valuable experience to choose a Tapif program and make their dreams become a reality. And Chrisanne, who went to the Académie de Versailles, same year, so just come back. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, my time in France was meaningful. This is my second time on the Tapif program, and I got the opportunity to see France through new lenses. Like the first time, I was able to practice my French, learn new vocabulary, understand some nuances between the two cultures. Overall, I really enjoyed the experience and would advise any Francophile who can participate in this program to do so. So, how do you apply? It's very simple. Everything is online, and any paper you need to provide them with, obviously, will be on the form. And if you have taken part in the Work and Travel program or any other program where you need to travel, you need to include it because it will show that you have traveled and lived abroad. And as I said before, if you've been involved in a summer camp, for example, with young children, you need to include that too, because this will be part of your teaching experience. You will need to write a little piece in French. It's about 500 words, and you need to show really your level. So you're not supposed to be helped. It's just for the people on the panel to have an idea of your level. And for the speaking, then you will have an interview in French and English. In French because they want to test your French, but also in English because they want to make sure that even though English is your mother tongue, you speak English well. So, that's it. Have I convinced you? Well, if you meet the criteria, why not? Applications for 2022-2023 will open in mid-October 2021, so you have the time to save money and to improve your French. Good luck with that. Bonne chance. Au revoir.